So TJ, we got a chance to talk to you about the game Saturday. So I just want a little of your backstory, I guess, to start with. So from Alabama originally?
Alabama.
Okay. So grew up where?
Millbrook area. It's like 15 minutes away from Montgomery.
Okay. So yeah, you end up at Troy. You're not a classic built defensive lineman. Did you get any Power 5 looks? How did you end up at Troy and start with your career there?
Coming out of high school, my junior year, as y'all would know, Coach Brown and that staff was there. And my defensive coordinator in high school is actually Coach Leslie's best friend. And he was recruiting me then in high school, but as you said, I wasn't the typical D lineman size coming out of high school. So when they came up here, that kind of like went away. But I still always loved Troy because when I watched them beat LSU, I said, yeah, I want to go there because I kind of knew off my size, I wasn't really going P4, P5 right away. So I kind of figured Troy would probably be the best spot for me, especially on like their tendency of being like a giant killer.
So you're successful there. At what point you thought you wanted to try to step up and play at a higher level?
After last year, I kind of like looked back on all my games against the Power 5 teams that we did play. I kind of was like, I feel like I could do this every game at a consistent level. So I'll say after that bowl game against Duke, I felt like I could probably do this every week.
And now you're doing it every week. How's it going? How do you think you've produced?
I feel like I'm doing my job. I listen to what the coaches tell me to do. I don't try to do too much outside of my job. And Coach Leslie puts me in spots for me to make plays.
Mood of the team and the players today, a couple of days after the game. What is the mood?
It's kind of, we came in kind of down, but after what Coach Brown told us this morning, we can't be walking around, all lopey, upset about the game. We got to look forward to what's ahead of us, and that's Big 12 play. This week we got Kansas, and that's going to be a tough opponent.
What was the message? What did he tell you?
Last week is last week. We can't dwell on the past. Be 1-0 this week.
In retrospect, from the game, were there any adjustments maybe that yourself or anyone could have made as the game kind of unfolded? You mentioned that kind of being surprised by Holstein scrambling as much, but then he did that a lot in the second half, even more so. Anything else that could have been done, maybe looking back?
Yeah, I feel like not really necessarily as adjustments because the coaches had us come in with a great plan to contain them. I feel like as players, we have to do better of executing what the coaches are telling us because there's a lot of plays in there. From me watching it from the eagle's eye, I could see like some of the rushes I even had, I came up too high and he ran in that B gap where we've been working all week not to let him run through that B gap. And there's a couple plays where we got to know when to stay in the quarterback's quadrant. Because the quarterback, you have 4 quadrants. The edge rusher is top half of the shoulder. Defensive tackle is his hip, nose guard, and et cetera, et cetera. So we just got to get better at working on those quadrants when rushing the passer.
Were there conversations about applying that even this week and then obviously?
Especially this week because,
right.
We got Jaden Daniels. That's going to be a even more so scrambling quarterback than what Holstein was. So that's a huge emphasis this week.
Take me through this was your first start. What's going through your mind before the game, and then what did that first play when you were on the field do for you? I mean, if I remember correctly, you made a big play on the first play.
I really don't like to get myself too high or too low, especially because I'm a type of guy. If I get too high or I'm too low, that's really when I play bad because I'm not really focused as I should. I kind of like I kind of went into that game as, all right, TJ, I've been doing this for 5 years. It's nothing new, just a bigger stage. That's kind of just how I look at things. I don't really try to look at it as like try to amp myself up to be more excited about it because I'm more of like a chill guy. I don't really like getting too amped up about things.
Am I remembering right? Did you have a tackle for the loss on the first play?
Yes, sir.
When that happened?
Oh yeah, when that happened, I was kind of I was like, all right, let's do this.
You mentioned proving to yourself that you thought you could play at this level. Once you make that decision and then you put your name in the portal, what was it like for you? What do you see in other people doing? Going out and contacting some coaches, or some of them coming to you? How do you get through all that? I mean, it just seems just like an extension of high school recruiting.
See, my thing was I had a quick turnaround. You know, when I hit the portal, I had like a week to make a choice, a week to make the decision. And I'm kind of big on, you know, family type of guy. And one thing about West Virginia, that's one thing these coaches, you know, they really emphasize on is family. And like I said earlier, my defense coordinator in high school was best friends with Coach Leslie. So we kind of already had that, you know, kind of feel. And yeah, so I'm big on family. And this coaching staff, they do everything for us. They keep us well glued together.
Did you talk to your high school coach, have him tell Coach Leslie, get in contact, hey, I'm available, are they interested? How'd that work?
They didn't really want to, I didn't want to go to him, and he didn't want to come to me about that, because it was, you know, tampering and all that type of deal. It was kind of just like, he kind of like texted me when I hit the portal. He was like, hey, if West Virginia do want to offer you, will you be willing to go? And I was like, yeah, because, you know, I was a big fan of Coach Brown when he was at Troy. And even when he left to come here, I was like, I hope I get to play for Coach Brown at West Virginia one day, because I always wanted to play for him even when I was in high school.
What's the biggest difference playing at this level, and maybe not even just playing, just being at this level, being in this building? I mean, Troy's got a nice program for that level, but is there a difference?
I'll say the resources that we have, even when it comes to academics. At Troy, we only had 2 academic advisors, two main people to really help us with our work. Here we got multiple advisors, multiple tutors. Tutors come to us. And one thing I'll say is nutrition. Nutrition, the highest I ever played at Troy was 260, 255. And I got here, I'm like 290, 285. So I say nutrition is the main key. And, you know, just everything is like here. It's in this building. We don't have to go this to go do that. We don't have to go to here to do that. At Troy, everything was like more spaced out. We would have to eat. We have to go to the caf to eat. Then have to go to the facility for study hall. We'll have to go to the next building. It'll be like from the facility to the hospital. That's where study hall would be. And we'll have to keep doing that every day just to make sure we stay on top of things.
When Eddie V went down, you knew you were going to play more last week against Pitt. Did you play as much as you thought you were going to play? Did you play more? How did that turn out?
You know, playing at the line, it's really like, you can't really count your snaps, because like, you'll be out there 3 plays, you get out, then you could be out there 4 plays and get out. You could be out there 8 plays and get out. Even when he was playing, I never really, you know, counted my snaps. I never really was like, dang, I'm not playing a lot. I'm not getting this many snaps. I don't really look at it like that, because the opportunity that you have to get out there, you gotta make do with those opportunities. So like, let's say I went out there for 35 snaps and I only made a couple plays. How I feel about it, even though I was out there for 35 snaps, I should be able to make at least 20 some out of those plays. Or
So you had 35 snaps last Saturday?
well, I don't know how many I had. I really don't even look at how many snaps I have, because I'm playing. I really just look at like, how am I producing in the time that I am out there.
How about at the end of the game? Obviously, chasing him gets tiring. He's a bigger dude. How were you condition-wise at the end of the game?
I say I was pretty all right. But, you know, once they started, you know, going tempo and doing that, it does get tiring on the body. But I'll say I was doing fine to where I could still be able to perform, even though they was still, you know, doing that. And Mike Joe does a good job with that throughout the week. Every Monday, the O-line and D-line run. So I say I was pretty well conditioned.
Forget about getting emotionally high or low. Playing at Troy, you're thinking, I wonder if I can play up there, I presume, in a setting like that. What's the difference ego-wise once you finally get to, the top level of football and have a game like you had?
With me, I kind of don't like,
Answer questions for you?
sir.
Did it answer questions for you?
Yeah, it kind of did. But at the same time, though, I don't really feel like I've done enough. Especially like even with the stats I had, we still took a loss. Like everybody tell me I had a bad game. I had a great game. I really like at what cost we lost. So like I've really like if we don't win, I don't care if I have zero tackles, 0 sacks. As long as I affect the game enough to where we win, that's all I care about.
You said you're big on family. Was it hard to move further away from home to come up here?
I have a daughter now, and they're up here with me, so like that's kind of like a little bit easier. And my mom and dad, they're like real big supporters of mine. So like even though I am far away, they still make a trip to come up here. And even during the summer, they were still making time to come up here and come see me and spend time with me. So like it really didn't matter if I was 20 hours away from home or even halfway across the world. My family would still come see me, and they would still find ways to come see me.
You mentioned that family aspect. Have you found that here? I mean, do you feel?
Yeah, I feel like I found that here, on my visit. I was really on my visit. I was really only supposed to stay here for like a day, and like those 6 hours I was here, I was like, yeah, this the place I want to be. Just off like the camaraderie that I saw between the coaches and the players, I was like, yeah, this is the most definitely place I want to be.
Now that you have some games on your belt, have that first start, what do you think you need to work on the most individually to keep this?
Conditioning is one. I got to be able to stay in the recovery room, use my hands more. Because a lot of plays, I didn't use my hands. If I'd have used my hands more, I could have made more tackles. Probably could have got a few more sacks. Ball get off. It's a lot of things. I like to critique myself on a lot of things. I like to criticize myself. Even when I make plays, I be like, I could have did this better. Yeah, it's a lot I could work on before this next game.
Positives and negatives of being a shorter defensive lineman? I mean, you think of negatives, but are there positives as well? What's the balance there?
I'll say being shorter than everybody. You get up under everybody easier. It's not really I play a lower pass than with everybody. Well, I try to. In some plays I do get high from being tired, but being shorter than everybody, you could get up under the pass and working movements. I'm quicker than everybody because I'm not that much bigger. I'm not long, so I could take 2-3 steps in less time than would it take somebody that's 6'5", 6'6" to take those 2-3 steps laterally and be able to work lateral and then work vertical. I said the negatives about it is you can't really work common pass rush moves with short arms that I got because, the long arm, you can't really work that in my body type because if I work a long arm and the offensive lineman is longer than me, they just chop my hand down and just lay on top of me. That's probably the most negative part about being shorter is I can't really work common pass rush moves than what taller guys would be able to work.
DJ, you play both ends, field and boundary.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference?
Field, you have more space to work with. You don't really, but in this defense, it's really, they're both the same. Honestly, it's just the space that you're working with.
You find you're dealing with more from the offense when you're in the open side of the field, like they're throwing stuff at you.
Yeah.
And is that like I guess, it's more them than you, I would suppose, how they attack the defense.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you more comfortable on one than the other? It sounds like you'd like to move a little bit. You could probably
I
move yourself in
really-
space.
Cause at Troy we kind of ran like a similar defense. So I'll say like I kind of leaned more towards the field, but if it really comes down to it, I'll play the boundary, cause that's basically what I did at Troy. At 2022 I played more field. 2023 I played more boundary. So I'll say I really play wherever I'm needed.
You have a daughter, how old?
She turned 3 months Saturday.
3 months. So she's too young to understand what you're doing.
Yeah, but I still love her at the games.
What can you apply from what happened last week to what you're going to face this week? What lessons have you learned? What how can you pivot, I guess, from a disappointing loss to an important conference opener?
I say, like I said earlier, we gotta execute. We gotta execute better than what the coaches are giving us. We gotta, like I said, on my part, I gotta contain the quarterback better. I can't rush upfield as high. I gotta counter rush back inside better. Basically, looking ahead on next to the next week. You know, critiquing myself, watching film, getting into the film room. You know, watching film on Kansas. That will be a tough matchup, and I'm excited for it.
You ever had any disappointing games at Troy or anything that you can recall where you lost to a big rival, and how did you guys rally, and what did you do, kind of pull together? Did you?
Last year, JMU, we lost to them by 2 points, 14-16. We had an intentional grounding call, got us out of field goal range, and we lost. And after that game, you know, we kind of sat down. We was like, this ain't the end of our season. Let's turn it around. Let's get back into the film room. And I can't remember who we played next week, but we played that next game the next week, and we was locked in, ready to go. And I feel a similar situation here. We lost a tough rival game last week, and we like I've been telling guys in the locker room, just keep our head up, man. We got another opportunity next Saturday.
You mentioned Jalen Daniels. How difficult is he to contain? How important is it to try to contain him?
I haven't really played a guy like that in a long time. I said the person I probably played close to it was probably Malik Willis. But it's going to be a tough challenge, you know, with him being able to move here through the B gap, through the outside, especially with the, you know, the option game, you know, all of that. We got to stay disciplined, especially playing the field end spot. We got to stay disciplined on reading what he's going to do. And it's gonna be a tough battle. It's gonna be a chess game.